Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Hoyani. This morning, I want to share some insights with you into the decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal sitting in Bloemfontein yesterday regarding the plight of, or the application made, or the appeal made by MAGUDUMANA to the Supreme Court of Appeal following the decision of the Bloemfontein High Court, of the Free State High Court rather, to rule that her deportation from Tanzania was lawful. You'll recall that Judge Lobsha made the decision that her repatriation and deportation from Tanzania was lawful because MAGUDUMANA had consented to that deportation, and as he put it, because she was lonely and she wanted to come back to South Africa to be with her children. So MAGUDUMANA then took this decision of the Free State High Court on appeal to the Supreme Court of Appeal. Yesterday, the Supreme Court of Appeal took the decision, and it was a split decision that her repatriation or deportation from Tanzania was lawful. And it argued that the majority decision, that is, the majority of the judges of the Supreme Court of Appeal, argued that she had consented to that deportation like, the Free State High Court had contended or held. She had consented to that deportation because she wanted to be with her children in South Africa. So that is the basis upon which the Supreme Court of Appeal, the majority decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal went. That is how it went. And the majority decision prevails over the minority decision. There was a minority decision by the Deputy President of the Supreme Court of Appeal who read that judgment in court. And according to that judgment, that minority decision, there is no way that MAGUDUMANA, MAGUDUMANA, could have consented to an illegality. In other words, in law, one cannot consent to an illegality. Say, for instance, just to give an example, one cannot consent to being killed because killing is an illegal act, and one cannot, consent to such an illegality, or any illegality for that matter. So we have two conflicting judgments coming out of the Free State High Court. And as Mashini Mutlung indicated shortly after the decision was handed down, MAGUDUMANA's legal team is now in the process of exploring an appeal to the Constitutional Court, because they say that this view or that decision to go to the Constitutional Court is reinforced by the fact that there is this dissenting decision of the Supreme Court of Appeal, which gives them some kind of hope that they have got prospects of appeal if they take this matter to the Constitutional Court. So basically, that is where the situation is now. The main trial will be held on the 21st of July in the Free State High Court. But in the interim, we'll just see where this appeal goes, because it might cause delays. It might cause delays leading up to the 21st of July. And this can only be averted if, these interlocutory applications are disposed of before the 21st of July. Because if they are not disposed of by the 21st of July, when the main trial, gets underway, MAGUDUMANA can then again still, challenge the decision, of the court, or the right of the court to try her, because that is what she was basically saying. She was challenging the jurisdiction of the court to try her, because she was arguing that, her deportation from Tanzania had been unlawful, and that even her, her appearance in the Free State High Court cannot be lawful, because it is consequent upon, an illegal deportation and an illegal arrest. But on the other hand, the NPA was very optimistic following the handing down of the decision, because the NPA is confident that even at the level of the Constitutional Court, they are still optimistic that, the court will find in their favor that, in fact, she consented to be brought to South Africa. But taking another angle at all this, it would appear, at least it appears to me, that this is purely an academic exercise, right? It is a purely academic exercise because, let us say, for argument's sake, the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein yesterday had found in favor of Nandipha Magudumana. What would then have happened? It would mean that her being brought to South Africa, her being brought back to South Africa from Tanzania was declared unlawful, right? Her arrest in Tanzania. That would mean that she would then be released. But upon her release, the South African police would simply pounce on her, and that arrest would be perfectly legal. So this is why I'm saying, to me, it looks like it is an academic exercise. But let us wait and see where it all leads to. She's entitled to have a day in court, and this might cause delays here and there, but that is, that is the bottom line. That is the bottom line. I feel that it is an academic exercise which will not really, take her anywhere. But having said that, let me also conclude by saying that, there was also an issue that was raised by the court to the effect that, it's a bit worrying why the South African police services were present in Tanzania, right? If this was a deportation by the Tanzanian authorities, it had nothing to do with the South African police. But then the NPA argues this by saying that the police were present in Tanzania, the South African police were present in Tanzania because this is a high-profile matter and there were a lot of security issues involved. And they say that if she had been arrested by the South African police in Tanzania, then there would have been no need to have preferred charges against her upon her arrival in South Africa at Lanseria Airport. So those are the issues. A split decision by the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein yesterday, and Magudumana intends to appeal this to the Constitutional Court. Well, I'm not going to preempt what the Constitutional Court decision is going to be. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out. But in the interim, there you have it. The date has been set, 21st of July, for the main trial. We hope all these interlocutory applications will be disposed of in the run-up to that date, so that come July 21st, the main trial is ready to proceed. You remember, the main trial is in relation to, the escape of Thabo Bester from the Mangaung prison, and how Nandipha Magudumana is charged with aiding and abetting that escape. So let us look forward to the 21st of July and see what happens. But in the interim, we'll be focusing on these interlocutory applications of Magudumana as she challenges, her being brought to South Africa. Having said that, let me thank you for watching this video, and also thank you for having watched all the other videos. Please kindly subscribe, share, and like these videos, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you.